Okay, guys, I'm way too lazy to wait until I have gotten out of bed or showered or put makeup on before I come on here today. And all I want to say is let's open up our hearts. Let's look at the ways in which we have closed ourselves off from feeling our feelings, and thus from feeling all the things around us, because we are all interconnected. Like I see this with myself, I see this with my clients. Once we really tap into this field of the heart, which is measurable, which science has confirmed, which is an electromagnetic frequency that has its own intelligence. Once we do that, what happens is all our shit comes up, all our resistance to feeling comes up, all the stuff comes up that we have suppressed. And once we actually see that, feel that, be compassionate with that, heal that, clear that out, what happens is we feel that we are not, I, I like to say I'm not an I, I'm a we. That we are not as singular as we believe ourselves to be. We're sovereign, yes. We're unique, yes. And still we're all interconnected as humans and beyond. And once I realize that, once it goes beyond just a mental concept of oneness, just a mental concept of, the ocean and the wave and all that stuff. It all has truth to it. This is why it's, like something that so many religions, but also spiritual traditions talk about. But it only becomes a reality for you once you've done enough of the work of deprogramming your mind and coming into your heart and healing the wounds and traumata that are there, traumas that are there, and that are not just yours, that are also intergenerational. And once that happens, what actually really takes place is that we reconnect through this field of the heart with everything and everyone around us. And then what happens in Rafah, what happens in Ukraine, what happens everywhere in the world. I mean, there's so many places and so many things that we don't talk about. And I remember when I was sitting in a news office, it's now more than 10 years ago, and that I left, and I've been there for 11 years. And I would, every day, we would sit in this news conference and would see the most horrific things. I remember a big thing was the war in Iraq, but there was so many atrocities happening every day. And now with the internet being so prominent, we see it more and more, but there is so much going on, and there's such, for many people, such a big underbelly that they just wake up to right now. But it's this underbelly has been very prominent for a long, long time. And what happens when I open the field of my heart, I know that, and this is, even back then, I hadn't done all the inner work and all the energetic work, but I was like, okay, it's so interesting that we tend to see what's close to us, and then we are afraid that, like for many people here in Germany where I lived, the war in Ukraine was a big thing because it was suddenly, whoa, it's close. But if there was a war in Sudan, people didn't care much, to be honest, and that's, we believe, oh, it's far away, it doesn't concern us. And as long as it doesn't concern us, we're not really invested, we're not really connected to that. But once you come into this heart space, you see that we are all connected, and we, as long as there is this stuff going on in one place in the world, it also, first of all, has an effect on me, and I'm partially responsible for it. And what do I mean by that? I mean that our inner ways, our traumas that still play out on an outer stage, is what actually creates the war. We have learned to see others who are different from us as different. We have learned to not focus on our similarities, which we all have. I traveled the world and we're so alike. We all want to be loved. We all want to feel safe. We all want to feel joy. But we've rejected others for being different, or if someone has a different opinion than I do, or expresses themselves differently, or dresses differently, or whether you wear makeup or not, or show up in a way that is not socially accepted or seen as a certain way. All of this, we distance ourselves from others rather than seeing that we are actually way more alike and connected. It's just a little rant because I feel like this is what contributes and what actually creates what's going on this planet. And there's a lot of blaming and shaming, and I'm not saying about it now. Nowadays, it's a lot of also pointing the finger of what's going on, and that's okay to help spread awareness. But if it stops there, if it's just oh, this is going on in the world, it's so terrible, it's not helpful. It's like, how can I take responsibility? What can I do in the outer world that is helpful? And first of all, how can I help heal my inner wounds, and thus from a different place help others do the same? And I feel like we need a totally different human way of being, which we actually are, which is a heart-centered, connected species. But because of all the trauma and all the war going on, we've totally disconnected from our hearts, because once we start doing this work, is that what happens first is that our wounds, our traumas, all of that stuff comes up, and it's not comfortable to feel, and we have learned to shy away from feeling uncomfortable, which is in and of itself a big issue, because I can feel grief and still feel very alive. I can feel anger and feel very alive, but we've learned to shame certain feelings, and we've never learned how to really feel feelings, and we sort them in good and bad. And that's another big rabbit hole I could go down now, which I won't, because I need to get up and actually shower and do all that stuff. Yeah, but that's a little video I wanted to make today, and it's just me sharing my thoughts. And it's also part of me learning to show up more, because we have also suppressed our voices and we are afraid of showing up. And for me, it's actually, to be fully honest, just coming on here, putting on this video and talking instead of, I used to be a news presenter and I used to be a news reporter, and instead of having makeup or a script or knowing what I say, but like, it's important for us. Of course I come in on here with an intention. I don't just want to ramble which sometimes I might do, but it's about letting go of the ways in which we have given our power away. And as an empowerment coach, now that wouldn't be good, would it? So yeah, I hope you speak up. I hope you connect with your heart beforehand. I hope you claim your voice, and most of all, live from that place. And from that place, we make different choices. All right, I wish you a beautiful day.